Open preview. There we go. Hello, every pony. How are the gamers? Hi. Hope you don't play today. Oh my god, yeah. Real. I can't imagine someone cheating that much. Oh my god. That's crazy. So she didn't get caught? No, it's definitely still cheating. It's definitely still cheating. Oh, YouTube gonna go down because YouTube tends to be more sensitive with live reacts. No, I already messaged the original creator of the video and I already got the green light. Yeah, for those who don't know, the reason why I don't like actively do reacts, like I don't do them constantly, um, is because I basically ask permission for every single one, and sometimes it takes a long time. So that's why. And sometimes I just don't find videos that I'm like interested in watching on stream or think they'd be good enough to watch on stream. So there's a lot of things with doing reacts. It's not just bam, I watch a video. Yeah, I know some people don't ask permission. But that can get you into awkward situations if you don't. I think it's just nice to just do it, you know? I don't think I've ever been told no by someone before. So that was pretty nice about it. This guy's the first YC's champ. What? I guess we'll find out in the video. But anyway, how are the gamers? Really see this are real. How are the gamers today? How was every pony? I'm so tired. I don't know why. I watched it after watching the last one you did, and I missed the end of it. Real. Who's the biggest cheater, Barrow or this guy? I don't know. I have never seen this video. I don't know. I literally found this video on my YouTube feed, and I was like, damn, this sounds gas. Okay, I just sent an email now. Like your reaction to the calendar session. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I'm really excited to watch. You could just chilling, real. It's a good video. I'm excited. I'm excited. Doing well. Working on a setup for a project including OBS and wrangling a few players up. Real. Pressing on dice rallies and need gems for train support. When do we get train support? Which of the guy is unstoppable? The guy in the upcoming video. Of which guy? The guy who's cheating? Real. If you're gonna be an insufferable person and cheat in children's card games, you might have an insufferable voice too. I love how you set up a whole stream based on reacting to exactly one video. Listen, I'm a yapper. Anyone who saw the which one was it? The I have SC. Look at membership. The Joey with modern Yu-Gi-Oh video. You know that I'm a fucking yapper. I can turn a 20-minute video into 2 hours. I can't make these reacts like multiple. I'm sorry I can't. Unless it's like really short ones, like cat with a mustache one that are like 5-10 minute videos. Because at that point, I just bang them all out. But like these like 2 hour long videos, this stream's gonna be long as fuck. Just a heads up, there's a post from the 2000s at historical accuracy. You don't read some of them out loud if you know what I mean. There's nothing that get involved in nuke, but stuff doesn't bad taste. I see. Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna let the man yap. And whatever he says, I'll respond to it. But thank you for letting me know. True, we also did Golden Nova ones too. Yeah, basically any videos that kind of short, I punch all of them out. But if it's like longer than 20 minutes, yeah, that's all one video. Hi father, hi gamer. That guy, yeah, about the reviews on par with the crowd. I deal with one good crowd on my locals when I went, wait, what happened? Liam? Oh, it's true, I did watch multiple Liam videos, you're right. Can you split that 3 hour reaction into many 30-second shorts? No, that costs too much money. Shorts aren't cheap, brother. I can't make that many out of reacts. Yeah, someone needs to who's peruse the internet. I'm aware of 2000 swords. I am painfully aware. And unfortunately, I also play Yu-Gi-Oh! So I am painfully aware. You have to pay to make shorts? Yeah, 'cause I don't edit them. I don't have time to anymore. So I hire editors to edit them for me. This is the guy we're about to watch, that one former judge. I don't know. I'm the wrong person to be asking. RG playthrough is gonna feel the short speed with her all the time. She gets jump scared. Real, I do get scared. That game's scary as fuck. It was way scarier than I thought it was gonna be. You pay your editors in money or alcohol? No, I pay them in real US dollars. I can assure you they get paid real dollars. No dice rally today? No. I should have more water. Give me a second. I gotta get water. Hold on. The big buck's real. You can just look at my face be like that. Yeah, hold on. I'm back and I have water. Yay! Yippee! Oh my god, thank you. Anyway, are y'all ready to watch the video? It's gonna be a while. So, we might as well just jump right into it, right? There you go. Let's get into it. This video's gonna be a while. 45 whole months of get going. That's crazy! Welcome back to membership. 45 months? What the fuck? That's crazy. Yeah, I need to get a new membership match made. Someone remind me to do that. Someone remind me to do that. Like, ping me on Discord to do that. That's like 5 stream babies. Real! That's crazy. Let me also make sure the audio's good. Drawing tab. No. Thank goodness I blocked it. Okay. Anyway, are y'all ready? Yippee!
You know where a procedural goes after a
I know, but I'm saying, like, I don't know where it went
Yo, your
wrong.
whole field is illegal.
This is Fraser Smith.
I'm sorry to I'm sorry to pause already, but the guy going, your whole field is wrong is so funny.
Fraser has just won a match of Yu-Gi-Oh! In the most bizarre way possible, because he barely played a single card. Rather, his opponent has just 2-0'd himself, and you might be wondering how this is possible.
By it's so
and I'm not going
basic.
to
These
tease
moves are just like the basic moves, you know? It's so basic, and
The
it's
end
like,
result, you actually left me
I'm
with that
just
choice.
saying.
Well, the person sitting across from him is none other than Peter Chang. Peter has just made 5 illegal moves in the span of less than 10 minutes, and his current field on the board is entirely illegal. But the community wasn't surprised because this was not the first time that Peter Chang had done this. You see, the man was previously disqualified and banned from organized play on multiple separate occasions for unsporting conduct, cheating, and
What? That's crazy. First off, I feel like I hear about bitches getting banned from Yu-Gi-Oh all the time. Like, how is it so easy to get banned from Yu-Gi-Oh? How does this happen? Like, I feel like it's not, like, I feel like it's so easy just to be normal about playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Why is this so hard for people? That's crazy.
for over a decade, Peter Chang was one of the most well-known names on the competitive Yu-Gi-Oh scene. Not necessarily for his skill per se, rather for his antics over the years. But on this day in particular, his actions would culminate in perhaps the most legendary feature match ever, and luckily for the world, it was live streamed for thousands of viewers. Now, to understand the gravity of the situation that we just saw, we're gonna have to rewind just a little bit for context. This is a story of Peter Chang, the most notorious Yu-Gi-Oh player of all time. Our story starts over 15 years ago in the year 2009, where Peter Chang was an accomplished Yu-Gi-Oh player who would travel the world to attend championship level tournaments composing of thousands of players and rare cards worth lots of money on the line. His prior success included multiple top cup finishes at these tournaments, but before he became a semi-big name, Peter was a dominant player in the New Jersey area, winning nearly all of the local and regional tournaments. But how could one man consistently win almost every single tournament? It was a question that many would ask, and over time, people slowly became suspicious about his style of play, and rumors began to spread, to the point where Peter would be known locally as a shady character with a history of connivery beyond the mere rules of the game. Local players would accuse Peter of stacking their decks and shuffling them in a manner that would cause them to draw the worst cards. At the same time, others suggested that he had marked his own sleeves to draw the powerful cards that he wanted.
Okay, not gonna lie, that's new to me. That's new. I've heard of people stacking their own deck. I've never heard of someone cheating by stacking their opponent's deck to be bad. Oh, is the audio double? Wait, let me see. Let me check. Thank you for letting me know. Let me see. Doesn't look like it is. For anyone else, is it doubled or am I getting one guy? Like, is it actually? Let's see. It looks all okay on my end. I think it's the video. The video sounds fine on my end. It's doubled for me? How weird. Yeah, nothing. Well, let me check playing the video and look at which ones.
Opponents would basically agree that
Weird, yeah, on my end, nothing's doubled. How strange. Weird. Let's run back in a second. They might have fixed it actually. It barely doubled. Weird. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, it's really strange. I've never heard of someone stacking their opponent's deck to be bad. That's so weird. Like, how the fuck do you do that? That's why they don't let people shuffle their own decks anymore, because of stacking. Real. Stacking your opponent's deck is more common in MTG since you can spot a land card and throw it on top. That's weird. That's crazy. Some battles, any tactics, true. You see a garden while shuffling, you just put it on top. Yeah, I guess if you like like move your, like, if you like angle the deck a certain way while you're shuffling, you can see as you're grabbing some of the cards what's in there. And I guess you can grab one of them that's bad and put it on the top, I guess. But that's crazy. I've never heard of someone doing that. Oh, if you pile shuffle, that works too, I guess. That's strange.
His own sleeves to draw the powerful cards that he wanted. His opponents would basically agree that Peter seemed to open the perfect hands every time, with the player even saying that at one of the local stores, Peter was banned from using white sleeves because they were so easily markable. And players who knew Peter in real life would claim that he was caught cheating on 7 separate occasions. It became so widely known that even some of Peter's closest friends would not refute this claim. But in light of this, he was never punished officially by the Yu-Gi-Oh! Organized Play Committee, as his hijinks were limited to his local area at the time. Nevertheless, it got to the point where Peter was disqualified from numerous local and regional tournaments, and eventually banned from several local stores. Coincidentally, as Peter's success flourished, he grew bored of the Jersey scene. I mean, yeah, being banned from several local stores probably didn't help. So he began to travel around the country to attend tournaments on the major circuit. So we're talking about the largest tournaments in the world here. This would prove to be extremely rewarding, for his skills were more than enough to compete on a national level. Peter would quickly make a name for himself, going undefeated at multiple events in a row and threatening even the strongest players at the time, upsetting legendary names like Adam Korn and Jeff Jones. At the same time, he would supplement his travel expenses as a back.
You can tell how much of a Yugi Zoomer I am that I have no idea who those guys are. I'm assuming they're very good, but I have no clue who those guys are. Oh my god. Jeff Jones is still a big name. I would hope. We know bestie, that's crazy. I have the pleasure of knowing Peter, seeing him very often at my locals. A lot of his antics are very true. I don't know if he talks about it in the video, but Peter Chang is extremely sick at the moment. Like to the point where he may pass away. Oh my god! That's crazy. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Aside, I hope he gets better. Holy shit. That's crazy. Imagine being so good at Yu-Gi-Oh! That you get banned everywhere. That's crazy. Grandpa can't know known players, SMH. No, it's not a grandpa situation. It's like, I'm a zoomer when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm simply a zoomer. I didn't start playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Till Master Duel. So, I don't know. Unless there might go Jesse Cotton, I don't know who they are.
Pack vendor, someone who carried around binders chock full of cards to buy low and resell at a higher price. Though it was technically and still is against the rules to buy and sell with anyone besides the official vendors in the convention hall, back then it was an unspoken taboo where basically everyone would secretly try to buy and sell with each other. Now I know what you're thinking, you probably thought that Peter was a—
Wait, did they not do that? I'm sorry, as someone who also goes to like Vanguard events, not for Yu-Gi-Oh! Everyone does that. It's not even like, I know you're not supposed to, but everyone does it. Do people actually not sell at Yu-Gi-Oh! Events? Do they not break the rules at Yu-Gi-Oh? It's against event hall rules. Yeah, it's against the rule. People do it anyway, right? Like, that's crazy. Rules are sacred in Yu-Gi-Oh! That's why they shower. People been kicked out for it unironically is literally a case of don't get caught. Weird. If people put the money in the sleeve or the sleeve in your binder, that's crazy. People have been banned for it? Oh my god, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm so used to people at like Vanguard events being like, yeah, here's my binder, you wanna buy stuff? Like, they don't care. Like, I think it's technically against the rules of Vanguard events. If I make this a video and an editor is like watching this, editor, can you put the rule book for Vanguard in there? I think it's technically against the rules, but everyone does it anyway. No one gets caught, or if they get caught, they don't care. They're fine. But yeah, that's so strange to me. I guess that in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's very serious.
Delightful businessman to trade and buy with.
Got something that might interest you.
Unsurprisingly, Peter was known to be extremely hard to deal with, often charging well over the market prices, especially if he knew that the buyer was in a desperate position. And according to a tournament report, one man who was the unfortunate victim of Peter's business practices had said, "When we got to the event, I had to ship $30 for sanctums, ignitions, etc., and got savaged by Peter Chang for like $20. Sucks to suck." You can imagine my dismay when my teammate Dylan showed up later with a binder full of artifact cards. Except that the other vendors were sold out of the cards, so the man had no choice but to approach Peter. And since Peter knew that the man needed the card for the tournament and round 1 was about to start, he upcharged him. Others would say that Peter would lowball them when buying their cards online. But at the end of the day, though perhaps immoral, none of what he was doing was technically illegal, beyond, well, buying and selling at the venue. The bottom line is Peter needed more money to be able to constantly attend these majors because they were always held in a different city across the United States, and travel and accommodation can be pretty expensive. As his play continued, Peter quickly cemented himself as one of the best Lightsworn players in the world. A strategy reliant on self-milling, it would trigger powerful effects in the graveyard to flood the field with monsters. The deck's signature boss, the Judgment Dragon, could only summon itself when 4 different Lightsworn names were in the graveyard, with its Day of Judgment ability wiping out all other cards on the field. But Peter's opponents complained that he always had the perfect mills, consistently hitting 4 names as early as the second turn, and constantly milling multiple copies of Wolf Lightsworn Beast, one of the deck's powerful methods to swing the game in favor. For it was essentially a free 2100 beater who brought itself back to the field. Though the deck could be pretty inconsistent due to the RNG factor associated with milling, in the hands of Peter Chang, the deck always seemed to perform exactly as he wanted it to. And with his devotion to the light, Peter would finish top 4 at Shonen Jump Championship Orlando and top 16 at Shonen.
He was a Florida man! You know it's bad when he turns into Florida man. Insane. Funny story, story time. Back in the day when Minerva the rank for Lightsworn was a prize card at the time, he would let you rent the card for an event / local for $60. What? I've never heard of someone charging money to rent cards. That's insane. Florida man does it again. Real Florida man did it again. Card rent, hello? Yeah, that's crazy. Rent the card like a party clown. I forgot to think in MTG. Well, the thing with MTG, right, is a lot of cards get stupid expensive. That Minerva was worth 15. What? What do you mean Minerva was worth $1,500? What do you mean? What do you mean? Current is a thing in Grand Archive. Well, Grand Archive does like $800. That's actually literally insane. It was a prize card. Oh, it's so crazy though. Oh my god. Like, I get it since the fact that it's a prize card. That's crazy. Yeah, before the reprint, it was mad expensive because it was only a prize card. That's crazy. As a Florida man, he's been removed from the Florida Council. Well, technically, he's from like what? New Jersey? He just adopted the Florida man status when he played in Florida. But I guess he's been removed from the council now. We gotta play some Edison? I do. Edison's so fun.
Jump Championship Columbus. With his name now commonplace among the elite, everyone would agree that Peter was no doubt a skilled player. But while his accomplishments grew, so did an aspect of uncertainty surrounding his gameplay, which had now transcended his local community and became known to the world. Online chatter was abuzz on the popular forums at the time. One player would note, Peter Chang has swept multiple events with Lightsworn. It's statistically impossible to go 8+ rounds and not lose multiple times. Factor in Lightsworn's inconsistencies, and you've got someone who is obviously defying the system in some way here. To further my claim, he's been asked to change his sleeves during multiple regionals due to marked sleeves. In 3, he's been DQ'd in the top 8 of regionals before. His reputation would rapidly become known with a chunk of
Wait, run that back.
top 8 of regionals before.
this.
His reputation
I'm sorry. Is that guy's icon a freaking... What's it called? Why can't I think of the deck's name? Is that a Blackwing dressed as a member of the Akatsuki? That's awesome! That's awesome! That's so awesome!
reputation would rapidly become known, with a chunk of the community calling him Cheater Chang, while others use the comedic spoonerism Cheater Pang. With each consecutive tournament that Peter attended, the forums would be abuzz with users following along for updates and potential drama. And boy, would there be drama. At the Shonen Jump Championship in Los Angeles, where after starting with a phenomenal 8-2 record and nearly locking himself into the top cut yet again with Lightsworn, Peter would suddenly be disqualified mid-round. Not explicitly for cheating, but rather for lying to a judge. You see, in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh!, infractions generally start with warnings. This is to give the player the benefit of the doubt for a genuine mistake, but also to ensure that players don't try to soft cheat by deliberately performing illegal plays or breaking policy to try and gain advantage. Therefore, multiple warnings or infractions would escalate into steeper punishment, with 2 warnings often granting the player a game loss. Now, apparently Peter had already received an infraction earlier in the tournament for having a marked sleeve in his side deck, but later when he was deck checked again in the tournament, that same sleeve in question was still present. Peter allegedly told the new judge that he had no prior warnings in an attempt to avoid receiving the upgraded penalty. But unfortunately for Peter, his statement would be fact-checked with the head judge, resulting in immediate disqualification for his dishonesty. Word of this quickly spread online like wildfire. The infamous Peter Chang was finally disqualified from a major event. Now, a pro player being disqualified from a tournament in the championship tier was already a rare occurrence. But factoring in Peter's scandalous background and everyone on the internet waiting for exactly this to happen, it certainly spilled the tea. Forums would reach peak traffic, with many flocking to hear the story and also to share their own personal anecdotes about Peter's gameplay. Now, you would think this is the end of the line for any regular Yu-Gi-Oh player, but unfortunately, Peter was not a regular player. In fact, this was only the beginning, because such an act of humiliation would only fuel Peter's revenge, igniting his thirst for redemption because he was so close to winning his first championship, and now he wanted to prove himself more than ever. Miraculously for Peter, luck would be on his side, for he would avoid any immediate punishment beyond disqualification from the event. Apparently, not even a disqualification from a major tournament would put a damper in Peter's shenanigans, because at the Shonen Jump Championships in Edison the following month, yes, during the well-known Edison format, Peter would be caught trying to add a card that was removed from the game back to his hand. But the judges simply gave him a game loss penalty instead of a disqualification because they didn't actually see it happen, and Peter argued that it was an accident. No surprises here. But just 4 months later, to the chagrin of the entire community, Peter Chang would pull off the unthinkable. It's May 16th, 2010. Peter Chang has defied all expectations and once again made the top 16 of a championship. But it would only get better for him as he breezes through the top 8 and then the top 4, at long last landing himself in the championship final. And the crowd can't believe it. If Peter Chang wins, I'm learning how to cheat, says one poster online. And finally, when the smoke cleared, a man raises a trophy with one hand and clutches 3 elusive prize cards in the other. After years of grinding, Peter Chang has finally achieved a championship title by winning the Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series Washington. And not just—
That's crazy. He won the first YCS by cheating? Well, we don't know. I don't think it's confirmed cheating yet, but with the track records going on, it's probably cheating. Like Al Capone being arrested for tax evasion! That's crazy. He can play machines like Bandit Keith. That's crazy. Bro's a gamer. I wouldn't give him the gamer title yet. I wouldn't give him the gamer title yet. He may have quote unquote won the first YCS, but we don't know how yet. Let him cook.
Any regular championship tournament, but the first ever Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series, a prestigious tournament that would replace the previous Shonen Jump Championships, featuring a set of new and elusive ultra-rare prize cards, the three Dark Lords. Dark Lord Superbia, Dark Lord Asmodeus, and Dark Lord Ida Ari, and they now belong to Peter. But instead of celebrations and congratulations, the community was largely skeptical, beyond just the mere fact that it was Peter Chang. You see, at this event, Peter pulled off a complete upset. He played a Machina Gadget deck utilizing the Jinzo engine, but it wasn't exactly the most competitive deck. In fact,
Did he just say Jinzo engine? Did he just say Jinzo engine? Jinzo engine's a thing? That's crazy. That was a thing back in 2010. Yes, insane. Insane.
it was regarded as a significantly weaker deck that paled in power compared to the existing X-Saber and the newly released Infernity decks that were expected to dominate. His strategy
I'm sorry I keep pausing, but it's funny seeing Infernity, knowing that people cheat like crazy with that deck, and that's the one he didn't cheat with? That's the easiest one to cheat with! If you're gonna cheat a YCS, use the easiest one! That's crazy! Insane. Infernity, people turn to Infernity. Okay, yeah, because from what I understand, right? Because Infernity wants you to have a low hand. So people would set monsters and spell and trap zone, bluffing as if they were actual trap cards. So people would think, oh, like they're playing it legitimately. No, they are just cheating. So if you're gonna cheat, why not use the easiest one to cheat with?
was rather simple. The gadget monsters replaced themselves for free card advantage and fueled the Machine of Fortress, who could be summoned by discarding another machine from the hand. Next, the Jinzo engine would supplement this, providing the only means of power for the deck to match the pace of the newer strategies, who had nearly outdated it completely. It would enable him to play Future Fusion, one of the strongest cards ever printed, that years later would even have its effect nerfed. But at the time, it allowed him to fusion summon by using resources directly from the deck instead of his hand and field, breaking the game mechanic completely. The monster wouldn't be summoned until the following turn, but that didn't matter because resolving a Future Fusion would allow Peter to dump all of his machine monsters to the graveyard if he declared a summon of the Chimera Tech Overdragon, a boss monster that required Cyber Dragon and any number of machines as fusion material. This also meant he could dump 2 copies of Jinzo and 2 copies of Jinzo Returner from the deck to the graveyard. The baby Jinzos would then trigger, immediately reviving the 2 adult Jinzos, whose effects instantly kick in to negate all trap cards on the field, while presenting 4,800 damage on the board at the same time. From there, he could revive the Machine of Fortresses from the graveyard that were also dumped there via Future Fusion, thanks to their special summoning conditions, to deal well over 8,000 damage in one single turn, and without any fear of staple disruptions like Mirror Force or Torrential Tribute. But the rest of the deck just wasn't very consistent and lacked significant combos beyond Future Fusion, which was also limited to 1 copy per deck at the time due to rampant abuse in the past. It was basically the deck's only unfair advantage, so to speak. In addition to the deck being pretty slow, it was also full of bad cards to draw, like Jinzo, which you would be less than ecstatic to see in your opening hand, for it required a sacrifice to summon. Even the gadget monsters were much weaker than the other monsters on the block, and he would have to power them up using support cards like Solidarity, while relying on trap cards to control the game at his pace. So needless to say that getting carried by 1 card to winning a 1,000-person tournament was pretty OP. Which brings us to the conundrum. Peter would have to hard draw the Future Fusion because it wasn't searchable, unless your name is Peter Chan. Because after his win, even more rumors exploded online, with some players at the event claiming that instead of drawing Future Fusion, Peter would search for it from his deck and add it directly to his hand when resolving the effects of his
What? Activate red gadget turning whatever color it searches. Add heavy storm, future fusion, whatever you want. Reveal the gadget you already had in your... That's crazy! He'd fake a search? That's crazy! Oh my god! I was unaware of your game, sir. I'm sorry. You found better ways to cheat than I would have thought of. Jesus Christ. That's crazy. Forgotten gadget target. Add future fusion from death. Bro invented cheating in Yu-Gi-Oh! Real. Now nobody knew in front of you. Yeah, apparently my guy knew a better way to cheat than I would have. That's crazy.
His gadgets. Since the gadgets could add each other, rather than add the corresponding gadget and reveal it to his opponent as per the game policy, the story goes that Peter would add the future fusion from the deck to his hand face down by accident, say oopsies to the opponent, and then reveal a copy of another gadget that was already in his hand, telling them that that was a card he had searched. Other players would share similar anecdotes of sleight of hand when playing against Peter. Some accused him of deliberately testing illegal plays to see what he could get away with, and allegations of stacking while shuffling and using marked sleeves were again at the forefront. A few players even surmised that Peter may have been taking advantage of a ruling loophole. Though this was never explicitly proven, they would say that Peter may have utilized the effect of Baby Jinzo when it was sent to the graveyard for cost. You probably know by now, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Is an extremely complex game where card effects are taken extremely literally down to the exact word. And Jinzo Returner reads that when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Jinzo from your graveyard. The keyword being when, which in Yu-Gi-Oh! Terms means that it can only be triggered at the exact time that the card is sent to the graveyard. For example, when sent there via Future Fusion or a card like Foolish Burial. Being sent to the graveyard is the last thing that has to happen in order for the effect to meet its activation timing. But in Yu-Gi-Oh! Costs take place before a card or a summon resolves. So if Jinzo Returner is sent to the graveyard to pay for the cost of a card, for example, being tributed for a tribute summon, then the last thing to happen is a tribute summon itself and not Jinzo Returner being sent to the graveyard. So the game would automatically skip the trigger timing and the player would be unable to activate the effect. And
is that how that works? I'm gonna be so furry with you. Despite having played Yu-Gi-Oh! For like almost 4 years now, I still have no idea there's an if and when until now. Thank you for politely explaining how that works. That's crazy. Is this how you learn the mistimings? Yeah, sometimes when it happens in Yu-Gi-Oh! I just go, okay, and I just accept it. I don't really understand why. Isn't timing is much bigger when there was a lot of when, yeah. To be honest, cards that have when in the text aren't as common these days, true. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a lot. Jesus Christ.
this is the exact ruling if Jinzo Returner is sent from the hand to the graveyard to fulfill the summoning cost for Machina Fortress. It wouldn't be able to activate because Machina Fortress's summon takes place immediately after the cost, therefore stiffing the activation timing of the baby Jinzo. This being said, some players online would claim that Peter may have abused this throughout his tournament run. Since this was an obscure ruling that wasn't immediately obvious when reading the card at face value, it's possible that not every player would have known the implications. In the worst case scenario, with Peter taking a warning from the judge, if the opponent even bothered to call a judge in the first place. Surprisingly, most Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are a lot more chill and reserved when it comes to calling judges compared to other trading card games that are out there.
You're kidding! Judge. Ah!
Now, the R&D team would later patch this loophole by rewording optional when effects to if instead, therefore allowing future cards to activate even when sent to the graveyard by cost in order to avoid abuse and confusion. But despite the rumors, no one could explicitly validate the claims against Peter. While most of the community completely disregarded Machina Gadgets as a viable contender because it was Peter Chang that won with them, there were a few voices that weren't fully convinced that Peter had cheated because there wasn't any hard evidence of it. I mean, in hindsight, it does seem a little ridiculous that Peter's opponents would be okay with him searching his deck for a card face down, adding it to his hand, shuffling his hand, and then showing them a random card from their hand that was the gadget. Especially at a competitive championship rules enforcement level, because in Yu-Gi-Oh, any card that's searched from the deck to the hand has to be revealed to the opponent. Now, perhaps Peter may have used other sleight of hand to make this possible, but it's more than likely that this was just a meme that snowballed and spiraled out of control online because of Peter's history of making illegal plays. But on the other hand, to add some more suspicions, it was also the first major tournament after the release of the Shining Darkness, a powerful set that forever changed the landscape of the game. It would bring power creep to an entirely new level that was never witnessed before. With the support for X-Saber and the highly anticipated release of Infernity, a deck that defied any prior sense of Yu-Gi-Oh logic.
Never mind, I thought he was talking about Dark Wings. I thought you were Black Wings, but I lied. It's not Black Wings, it's Infernity. You can tell I barely know old Yu-Gi-Oh!
Previously, gaining card advantage and resources required setup, often taking multiple turns and being earned as payoffs through difficult means. But the Infernity deck was highly explosive and could overwhelm the field with near endless resources out of nowhere, granting the user the ability to set up a near unbreakable end board or just attack and win in one single turn. The deck's gimmick relied on the user having no cards in their hand, and once the requirement was met, all of the effects became live. Their signature card, the Infernity Archfiend, could search the deck for any Infernity card when it was special summoned. Infernity Necromancer would then revive the Infernity Archfiend, and 3 copies of Infernity Launcher could revive both Archfiend and Necromancer, creating a mini loop as Archfiend would then search for another copy of Infernity Launcher to reborn over and over again. Built-in tuner monsters allowed the deck to summon a plethora of synchro monsters like the Mistworm to spin back the opponent's field, while Infernity Break could disrupt the opponent's cards. As if this wasn't enough, they also released a TCG exclusive card in the form of Infernity Barrier. This was an in-archetype Solemn Judgment that could negate any opposing card, making the deck complete overkill. X-Saber, on the other hand, was already—
That's so interesting. I've never heard, maybe I just like it hasn't occurred to me that this happens, but like, when I'm used to like, when it comes to, what's it called? Like, TCG exclusives, it's like a whole archetype, and 9 times out of 10 they're bad unless they're Mitsurugi. I've never heard of like a TCG exclusive being 1 card in an archetype. That's so weird. Are there more like that, or is it just that one? Because it's weird. Maxi? I guess Maxi does have an archetype. Technically. There were tons? That's crazy. No, I'm not talking about like generic cards. I mean like a random card within an archetype, and it's the only one that's a TCG exclusive. That's what I'm talking about. That's crazy. Great match of the 6 Samurais was a TCG exclusive. What the fuck? A lot of TCG exclusives were just a few archetypal cards, and it wasn't until Zexal era when they tried doing exclusive decks. Oh, I see.
an existing powerful deck in the metagame. Double X-Saber Gotams could easily loop the opponent's hand for multiple cards. Cold Wave and Trap Stun could lock the opponent from using traps, while Double X-Saber Hyanlei could then destroy up to 3 of them. Their ace main deck monster, the Rescue Cat, could swarm the field and even enable crazy degenerate turn 1 combos. But the Shining Darkness would introduce another TCG exclusive, this time for the X-Sabers as Double X-Saber Dark Soul, who allowed the player to search for an X-Saber monster during the end phase of the turn that it was sent to the graveyard. The exact card that the deck lacked for follow-up and resource management, because now we had a body that we could synchro away while getting a search in the end phase. The other TCG exclusive, Double X Saber Bogart Knight, allowed the player to special summon.
Bogart Knight's also a TCG exclusive? What the fuck? That's crazy. You see, my Yugi Zoomer is like exposed. Whenever I do these freaking react videos, you can see how much of a Yu-Gi-Oh Zoomer that I am. It comes out.
Summon another X-Saber monster from their hand, easily placing two bodies onto the field to enable Double X-Saber Fall Troll. There was just one problem. A search is not exactly the term I should use for Double X-Saber Dark Souls effect. You see, this was the first card that was worded in such a way where the search would be delayed, causing uncertainty about how it would work. Previously, cards like Sangan would trigger immediately when they were sent from the field to the graveyard, and we didn't have any precedent for something that would search in the end phase. Therefore, it was left to the judges' interpretation, and they would rule that Dark Soul triggered immediately when he was sent from field to the graveyard, meaning that the same copy of Dark Soul could be resurrected and sent there yet again, accumulating multiple searches off of one single copy. Though this would later be overruled years later, at the time it would push X-Sabers to even greater heights than ever imaginable. And armed with heavy graveyard disruption like the DD Crow and the anti-Dark Floodgate, Consecrated Light, the deck could go toe-to-toe with Infernity, resulting in a stalemate of power, with 7 X-Saber and 7 Infernity decks both making the top 32 cut of the tournament. So you can probably see why it was borderline impossible for Machina Gadgets, a deck that had received 0 new support from this game-breaking brand new set, to defeat multiple X-Saber and multiple Infernity decks across 15 rounds to win this tournament. And in the finals of this event, 7 judges were watching the match from every possible angle to ensure that Peter Chang did not pull any shenanigans. I'm not even joking. This was actually what happened. Yeah, they really wanted to cover their bases. And with the pressure on, he would defeat YPFL Stephen Harris, an Infernity player who, interestingly enough, Peter knew was not playing the Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. Fortress Dragon was a direct counter to any machine deck, for it was a unique fusion monster that could be made without polymerization. Rather, the card introduced the concept of contact fusion, allowing the user to simply send away the fusion materials from the field to the graveyard as long as they were all present on the field. It was specifically printed as a countermeasure to the advent of powerful machine decks that had plagued the game over the past couple of years, and its fusion materials would require Cyber Dragon plus any number of machine monsters from either side of the field. This meant that a regular player could even utilize Peter's own Cyber Dragon, alongside his other machine monsters, to wipe his entire board on a whim. But at the very last minute before submitting his deck list, Harris decided to play an additional Synchro monster over Chimera Tech, theorizing that nobody would be crazy enough to play Machina Gadgets at this event. But evidently, Peter was crazy enough. This meant that he was able to keep his Cyber Dragon on the field without any fear of his machines being wiped away by one single fusion summon, adding additional pressure to his board, ultimately contributing to his victory alongside the fact that Harris somehow drew the worst possible hands. The forums went absolutely crazy. Peter Chang, who everyone thought to be an egregious cheater, had won a championship event, and with the last deck anyone would have possibly imagined. Players had already begun buying out X-Saber and Infernity cards overnight with the expectation that one of these two decks would easily sweep the event. But they were wrong. He had to have cheated, said the community, who completely dismissed Peter's victory with such an unconventional strategy. But outside of the allegations of potential misconduct, many players also brought forward anecdotes about Peter's overall character, with some claiming that he was highly egoistical and erratic, often rushing his opponents into making misplays, angle shooting, or carelessly grabbing their cards without permission. Others even hated his voice. It seemed like everyone had a reason to dislike the man, even more so now that he held a championship title. But regardless of whether or not Peter cheated, the general consensus seemed to agree that he was highly annoying to play against. In a Reddit thread titled, "What's the worst player you ever dueled?" on the r/Yu-Gi-Oh subreddit, a hefty amount of replies were about Peter Chang. It seemed that a lot of players on the competitive circuit had witnessed his shenanigans at one point or another. With the spotlight illuminating his elevated notoriety, players began to complain about his apparent invulnerability. It seemed that no matter what penalties or disqualifications Peter received, he would receive no further suspensions. "I don't cheat, it's just I'm good and you're not," he would proclaim online. But some players decided to take matters into their own hands. You see,
I hate people talk like that. It's so annoying. Oh, it causes me. Do you ever hear people speak and you like you cringe from proxy. Like you just hear them talking and you're like, ah! Like, people who thought that do that to me. People who feel like that make me like die a little inside. Make me so like, ugh, you know? Yeah, the internal cringe. It hurts so bad. You guys ever heard logs talk before? Real as fuck. That's so real. Sound like Chaz? No, but Chaz is quirky. Chaz is so quirky. Like, Chaz is silly. Like, especially because it's my TV show, it doesn't compute the same, right? He's like a quirky little guy, so it's just like funny that he's like bad and cringe. This is like, he's not trying to be silly. That guy's legit just like that. Yeah, and Chaz refused to cheat. He's just a little guy. He's literally just a little guy. Chaz's Peaky is my favorite character. My favorite little goober.
At a regional tournament just a week after his championship win, Peter would get jumped by a group of rare hunters trying to steal the coveted prize cards that he had brought with him to show off. But luckily for him, he would narrowly avoid disaster. And if you didn't believe that Yu-Gi-Oh could be serious business, well now you know. As a result, Peter would take a low profile over the next couple of weeks, but quickly found himself back into the swing of things to test for the upcoming national championship, the largest tournament of the year that would qualify a handful of players for the prestigious World Championship. But only 2 months later, things would finally devolve for this devoted duelist. In the year of 2010, Peter would attend the Yu-Gi-Oh! National Championship, and inside of the convention hall during check-in on Friday, he would sit down at a table with friends to work on their deck list and collectively theorize what the best tech cards would be. But as they lost themselves in the conversation, a judge suddenly tapped Peter on the shoulder, and at that moment, he would inform Peter that he was banned from organized play, effective immediately.
What? What? What a way to find out. What a way to find out. Imagine you pay money, right? To fly to a tournament, to get a hotel. You're there the day of. You sit down, and the guy goes, yeah, get the fuck out. That's crazy. That's crazy. Not even sending an email, just said, get the fuck out. That's crazy. Oh my god.
Apparently as a further consequence of his original disqualification from Shonen Jump Los Angeles earlier that year, but also as an additional penalty in regards to another disqualification from a regional tournament that took place at some point between his championship victory and the Yu-Gi-Oh! Nationals. But the rules committee would have to confer with their higher-ups to determine whether or not a suspension was warranted. And though it took some time, they had finally come to the green light to ban Peter Chang from organized play. After being caught on multiple different occasions with suspicious shuffling, conspicuous sleeves, performing illegal plays, and numerous penalties and multiple disqualifications, Peter's guardian angel had done all it could, and the consequences had finally caught up to him. And at that very moment, Peter would be forced to leave not only the venue, but also the game itself for the next few years. Understandably, he was completely crushed. This was a devastating blow to a large part of his life that he devoted so much time and effort to. But if there's at least one takeaway from the story so far, we know that Peter was extremely determined, and even a forceful setback like this would not stop him.
What?
5 years later, Peter Chang would return with an even greater vengeance. By now, the game was a lot more popular, and events were getting way more players than before.
That is one thing I will preface, right? You have to really love Yu-Gi-Oh! Because if you get banned for 5 years and you still come back, you have to really be in it for the love of the game. I'm just saying, you gotta be in it for the love of the game. If you get banned for 5 years, if I got banned for 1 year, I think I'd probably just quit. I think at that point I'd be like, okay, I think I'm done. You get banned for 5 years and you're back in? He's in the love of the game. He loves to cheat. Truth nuclear bomb, brother. Truth nuclear bomb. He's in it for the love of the game. I didn't say love of the game legally. Or what kind of game he was playing. He's simply in it for the love of the game, though.
And at the same time, not only had the power creep completely changed the game itself, but there were also complex online simulators where the best players could practice, competitive articles and guides available online, and less secrets that were held by the inner circles of the pro players. It was a completely new generation of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Online forums were slowly being drained of their culture as a trend towards social media and Facebook groups had facilitated discussion and theory, pushing even the average player at the time to one that would have dominated the scene only 5 years prior. But Peter, of course, was still following the game even during his ban, and now that he could enter tournaments and sanctioned events once again, he quickly adapted. Defeating thousands of players, he would make top 32 of both YCS Columbus and the National Championship in 2015 with his new favorite deck, the Teller Knights, a strategy whose signature monster ironically searched for another copy of a Teller Knight monster from his deck, just like the gadgets. Yeah, Peter seemed to love cards that would search his deck. It was almost a combination of his two favorite decks in the past, Lightsworn and Gadgets. His confidence with the Teller Knights would also propel him to win the Ultimate Duelist series, an exclusive tournament comprising of the nation's top-ranked players.
What the fuck is... What is this? What is that? I'm sorry, they made wrestling style belts for Yu-Gi-Oh? That is insane. That is crazy. Where is this now? Where is this now? That's crazy. Where is this now? Jesse has one. Of course my goat does. Of course he does. That's my guy. Those were prizes back then. Now it's just air fryers? Crazy. But something on an air fryer? I don't know. I think this belt's pretty cool. Then when someone PP2. That's crazy.
Ultimate Duelist series, an exclusive tournament comprising of the nation's top-ranked players, granting him the championship belt and also 2 buys for the first 2 rounds of all foreseeable tournaments to come. This was a prestigious achievement that only the upper echelon of duelists had ever attained, once again engraving Peter Chang into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! History. It quickly became obvious that Peter Chang was once again a force to be reckoned with, though whether due to pure skill was less than debatable, at least according to the general opinion online. His explosive resurrection was certainly less than the community had anticipated, but at the same time, it reinvigorated the excitement of having a scandalous player in the relatively calm competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Scene. And in the following year, Peter Chang would find continued success, landing himself in the top 16 of YCS Columbus, again with Teller Knights, and in the top 32 of YCS Providence with Cosmo. It was without a doubt that the man had a compelling mind when it came to the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! While other players experimented with different options, Peter was an early pioneer of utilizing just one singular deck across multiple events until mastery, a notion that would become popular years later. His core theory and methodology within the game was definitely well ahead of its time, but unsurprisingly, Peter's tactics would once again catch up with him, and at the start of the 2017 season, Peter would be disqualified and banned yet again for an extended period of time. I don't cheat for fun, I cheat for the love of the game!
Ranked cheating is crazy.
Time. With his legacy frozen, the community would largely forget about Peter Chang once again, but nothing would prepare them for what would happen next. If you're enjoying this video, I just want to let you know that there's a lot more content like this in the horizon, so thanks for hitting that subscribe button and liking the video.
Yeah. You're right. Go subscribe. Go subscribe. This is my goat. He was so nice in my emails too, but more importantly, subscribe. This video's actually unironically awesome. Like, it's so good. Like, how do I put it, right? I feel like absorbing Yu-Gi-Oh content for me is like different. I don't know how to explain it, right? I feel like when I watch my normal content and when I watch Yu-Gi-Oh content, it feels very different, right? Like, I feel like I have to, like, how do I explain? I'm always in, like, Yu-Gi-Oh mode, right? Like, I'm thinking of all things Yu-Gi-Oh, but this is, like, so casual and nice to look at. I can just, like, listen to this and vibe. What a lovely video. Anyway, back to the video.
Saying these are just so.
Both of these monsters cannot be on the field right now.
Like,
I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying, because
That's so real.
I'm just saying,
That's so real.
I'm just saying.
That's so, I'm sorry, that's so real. Him just going, I'm just saying, is so real. Well, I'm just saying. That's so real. That's so real. I'm just saying, that's so real. It's so real.
I'm just saying the moves are so basic. Oh my freaking god.
Where's my healer?
That's so real.
In 2017, competitive Yu-Gi-Oh had grown to be extremely popular. But in the competitive scene, there was a pressing issue. Players had slowly become disillusioned with the way that the game was being run officially. Formal rulings, like for XX Saber Dark Soul, were often delayed for months or years, because Konami Japan overseas was in charge of setting up these rulings and giving context to the judges, but for whatever reason, they just never did. Tournaments also failed to distribute any cash prizing, providing only prize cards and playmats instead, which was hardly a consolidation considering a lot of the players were spending hundreds and thousands of dollars to travel and accommodate themselves for these major tournaments. Not to mention the other popular card games at the time all had lucrative cash prizes. Whereas in Yu-Gi-Oh, making even the top 16 of a 2,000-man tournament would mean you get a felt playmat and some booster packs as the sole prizing. The ridiculousness of which would expand into top 8 with players receiving an Xbox 360 when the Xbox One had already been
anymore. I'm sorry. You cannot judge Konami for air fryers anymore when they were giving you an Xbox 360 so the Xbox One was already out. We cannot judge them for air fryers anymore.
out for nearly 1 full year. So basically, to earn your money back or to be profitable, so to speak, as a professional Yu-Gi-Oh player, you would have to make top 3 at the very minimum in order to get a copy of the prize card that could be sold for significant value on the secondary market. So needless to say, a lot of the players had become slowly more and more disillusioned and were pissed off. But a large and popular Texas game store named Alta Reality Games, or ARG for short, took advantage of the situation and launched their own circuit of tournaments. And you guessed it, with cash money on the line. Much like the Star City game circuit for Magic the Gathering, these events were pushed by many pro players who partnered with the brand and boasted better policies, up-to-date rulings, and a generous lump sum should you win or place well in the tournament. They would put a focus on content and social media, live streaming each event, and often with commentary from prominent players on the mic, providing a feel that was akin to that of early Smash Brothers tournaments like Genesis or grassroots tournaments in the FGC. Feature matches were chosen by the audience with a focus specifically on well-known players, and tournament records of these players and their storylines were placed at the forefront of coverage. Rivalries and grudge matches were common, top-notch content that would have never been featured on an official Yu-Gi-Oh channel.
Okay, yeah, we'll play $500. Let's go. All right, you gonna talk shit? You can talk shit to my face. All right? And I'll play that shit.
What?
So Tennessee, beating this motherfucker's ass for $500. You better sure you bring that shit.
But most importantly, these tournaments generated immense hype for the game, which was never before seen. It would be the perfect stomping grounds for Peter, for he was otherwise suspended from official tournament play. And unsurprisingly, Peter would instantly set his focus on grinding the ARG circuit, attending several events with little problem, and receiving a handful of feature matches, to which the YouTube comments could be pretty amusing. But
do these exist anymore? No, right? I feel like we would have heard about this if this still existed. I wonder what happened. Why don't they exist anymore? Long gone. That's crazy. Fell off for reasons. Oh no, that's rough. That sucks. Or because Konami? That sucks. Konami says Solid Snake is crazy. Literally stopped because of COVID. Oh, really? So there's a controversy around custom ban lists. Oh, I see. I was surprised you didn't know about this. They did Vanguard too. Yeah, again, I didn't start card games, period, till Master Duel. So I'm even more of a Vanguard zoomer than Yu-Gi-Oh! So yeah, I had no idea. That's crazy. They did Vanguard too? That's crazy.
one particular match would catch the attention of the entire world and bring the spotlight on Peter Chang once more. ARG Championship Series Springfield 2017. It's round 5 and Peter is currently 5-0. He sits down to meet face-to-face with Fraser Smith, a pro player with a championship win himself, alongside dozens of other accolades. Fraser had previously won YCS Atlanta using a unique Gravekeeper strategy during a graveyard-based plant synchro metagame, but he had since taken a break for some time and was just returning to the game. The tournament format would revolve around Zodiac, a powerful engine that could be played as its own pure deck or splashed into other strategies. They would completely break the Xyz mechanic, which previously allowed the player to summon out an extra deck monster by stacking 2 or more monsters with the same levels on top of each other. But with the Zodiacs, the extra deck monsters could be overlaid on top of one single monster. It was textbook power creep at its finest. Zodiac Broadbow could search for another Zodiac monster from the deck, while Zodiac Trident was an endboard piece that could destroy a face-up card during either player's turn. Now this of course already generated unreal advantage from just one single monster, being able to search for a card to replace itself and then also destroy a card on your turn and another card on the opponent's turn at the minimum. But it gets even better. You see, their signature monster, the Zodiac Rapier, could special summon 2 more copies of itself from the deck whenever it was overlaid as a material. The new copies of Rapier could then be overlaid into any other rank 4, with Daigusto Emerald being the premium choice, for it could then recycle back the Zodiac Rapiers to draw a card and allow for the Rapier loop to be conducted again on the next turn. While Fraser utilized a pendulum Zodiac strategy with Metaphors, Peter would instead combine his Zodiacs with the Infernoid engine. It seems that Peter would be nostalgic about prior decks that he'd seen success with, for just like the Lightsworns, the Infernoids were heavily mill reliant. They could resurrect themselves from the graveyard by banishing other Infernoids, and had explosive effects that could wipe the entire field, while negating either a spell or trap card in the case of Anoku, or a monster effect with Deviati. But the Zodiacs meshed really well into this strategy, because the Rapier combo could end on Bujinte Kagutsuchi, a rank 4 who could mill 5 cards from the top of the deck. So imagine being able to search a Zodiac monster, pop up to 2 cards, and also mill 5 cards from the top of your deck thanks to one lone monster. That's how broken the Zodiac engine was. But that's not all, because the deck also had access to one of the strongest in-engine cards ever printed, and also very much like Peter's favorite card, the Future Fusion. You see, just like Future Fusion, Void Imagination let the user fusion summon summon by using monsters from their deck, as long as the opponent controlled a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck. This would be used to fusion summon the Infernoid Tiara, who could be made using any number of Infernoid monsters, meaning just like the Chimeratech Overdragon, the user would effectively send all of the Infernoid names from their deck to the graveyard, which of course could be brought back using their own effects. Upon summon, Infernoid Tiara would allow both players to send the top 3 cards of their deck to the graveyard, and also 3 cards from the extra deck to the graveyard as well, allowing Peter to send copies of Elder Entity Entis to pop a free card on the field, ciphering Lord Omega to disrupt the opponent's graveyard, or just additional copies of Tiara to serve as fodder to banish from the graveyard to resurrect the other Infernoids. An unfathomable level of advantage from one single card, meaning just like Future Fusion, if Void Imagination resolved, the game was effectively over on the spot. The Infernoid Zodiac deck had everything that Peter liked in the past, from milling to activating Future Fusion. But the downside, of course, was having to play Infernoid monsters who really aren't that appealing to draw on their own. But here's where the deck had an edge. It could take advantage of That Grass Looks Greener, one of the strongest cards in the history of the game. Grass would allow the user to mill cards from the top of their deck equal to the difference in their deck size and the opponent's. Since a minimum deck count was 40, most players would play exactly this number to maximize the chances of drawing the strongest cards in their deck. With Grass, however, the player could easily max their deck count to 60, meaning a guaranteed mill for at least 20 cards against most opponents that were playing 40, or even more cards if the opponent went first and had already thinned their deck via searching. Resolving Grass would fill the graveyard with a plethora of Infernoids and also Fairy Tale Snow, a monster with an on-demand quick effect that summoned itself back by banishing any 7 cards from the graveyard, just like Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Upon summon, Snow was a disruption as it flipped an opposing monster face down. And for this reason, with Grass being so overpowered, the deck also played 3 copies of Left Arm Offering, a card that can search for any spell card in your deck, including Grass, but at the steep cost of banishing the player's entire hand. And game 1 would start with Peter winning the die roll, activating Left Arm Offering, only to discard his entire hand to the graveyard instead of banishing it. His very first action of the game was an illegal play that was so egregiously illegal that it's honestly kind of surprising. The card itself says banish.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I was so shocked to see Maxi that it did not occur to me that he dumped it to grave and didn't banish it. I was so shocked to see Maxi. Insane work, brother. Insane.
If it discarded, it would be way too broken, especially with a graveyard-based deck that wants to mill. Peter's excuse later on would be that he had only picked up the deck 5 minutes prior to the tournament and his friend had made the deck completely for him, even though it was round 5 and both players were undefeated. On top of this, he did this in a feature match that was live streamed in 4K HD to thousands of people around.
No! Why is he like this? No! Brother! Brother! He truly is in it for the love of the game! At this point, he don't give a fuck about getting caught! He's in it for the love of cheating! No! Literally caught in 4K, that's crazy! No, he's just saying.
Around the world. But what was more shocking was the fact that neither Fraser nor the judge would immediately catch this. Though in Fraser's defense, he did mention that he was on hiatus and took a long time break, so he didn't really know all of the cards to the exact wire. Of course, the chat at the time would go completely bonkers, having caught the error and attempting to notify the commentators and the staff. Though some time would pass before someone finally caught wind of it, so play would continue as normal, with Peter activating the search copy of Grass, now milling a large chunk of his deck, which surprisingly lacked a chunk of Infernoid names. In fact, it was probably one of the worst possible mills. But he would be able to bring back an Infernoid Deviati by banishing the few 3 names that he did have in the graveyard, including at least one that he happened to
Did he also mill Snow? Oh no.
discard with Left Arm Offering, meaning that the first illegal play had now created a second illegal play. play passes over to Fraser, who then normal summons a copy of Eccentric Archfiend, now threatening the Deviati. So Peter is forced to banish 7 cards from his graveyard to resurrect the Fairy Tale Snow and flip face down the Archfiend Eccentric. But as Fraser lays down his next 2 cards,
Play is immediately halted.
the head judge sits down at the table, having been alerted from the Twitch chat that something, fishy, to say the least, had occurred earlier in the game.
Oh, you have to banish your hand? He discarded his
Oh, I
hand.
discarded mine, yeah.
Oh, crap.
I just...
Neither Fraser nor Peter can remember the original contents of Peter's hand, so the judges have no choice but to huddle together and talk it over. After a few minutes of
It's
heavy
horrible.
deliberation, the
I'm in
judges return
pain.
to the table to inform the players that the game state is now irreparable because so much has happened since Peter discarded his hand. Peter argues that it's his first time playing the deck and he had no idea, and even asks for them to rewind the stream to try and piece together their hands so play can be rewinded, but at this point it's kind of hard to do that when a bajillion cards have been milled and an entire turn has passed.
It's going to be a procedural error for both players, a warning for Frazier, and a game loss for you. As you do gain mass advantage from not banishing your hand there.
Should have just said something earlier. I mean, the judge is right here.
I mean, to be honest, a game
I'm
loss
always
is
getting
the
lower end of the
minimum
deck.
for something that happens like this. I could be taking you over to a table and talking to you right now, but I'm not, because I don't think
So
it was
this is-
intent. I
okay,
think it was
so-
just accidental.
Instead of being grateful to the head judge, who had given Peter the minimum possible penalty, as he didn't believe that Peter deliberately made the illegal play, a salty Peter complains that the table judge should have caught his illegal play earlier and not waited until Fraser actually drew his card for turn, even though it was his own fault in the first place that the illegal play even happened.
The judge should have just said something earlier.
But we...
You know what I'm saying?
No one at this table knew what that...
Yeah, I'm saying you should have said something earlier, not let it go to, you know, your turn and then say something.
Alright. Don't be mean, Peter.
No, I'm just saying.
I understand, don't be mean.
I'm just
If they
saying.
had said it earlier, we could like fix that.
Absolutely, but...
Peter receives a game loss penalty, so he's now down 0-1 in the best of 3. The community goes absolutely crazy. Twitch chat, Reddit, Facebook groups are all once again talking about Peter Chang. Cheater Pang had returned.
What are they saying? Oh, great. This is gonna look bad.
Yeah.
Always is.
There's some uncomfortable silence as the two players side deck for the next game, with Peter opting to go first since he lost. He looks at his hand for a minute, pondering, then activates Zodiac Barrage to special summon a Zodiac Rapier from his deck, commencing the Rapier combo by overlaying into Borbo, then Tiger Mortar, detaching Boar so he can special summon a second copy of Rapier from the deck via its own effect. Standard plays, of course. He then proceeds further into the combo, overlaying Broadbow over Tiger Mortar, resetting the first Rapier's effect so it can be used to special summon a third copy from his deck. But as he goes through his deck for the other Rapier, he shortcuts the other effect of Zodiac Broadbow, who can detach a material to search for a Zodiac monster. Except Peter completely forgets to detach a material for the cost of this effect. Illegal play number 3 of this
No, stop! No! I'm feeling pain! Like, I'm literally hurt. Like, I feel cringe. Like, it hurts. Seeing people intentionally cheat. Like, you were playing children's card games. Literally, stop. It hurts so bad. The bro's a demon. Like, the one with the gadgets, that's a masterful cheat. This isn't masterful, this is weak. He's losing his strat. He's losing his skills in cheating, bro.
match. This also makes it so he only has 2 monsters in his graveyard, which stiffs his next play as he's not allowed to legally use the effect of his Daigusto Emerald to shuffle back 3 monsters from the graveyard into the deck, since there's only 2 monsters in the graveyard at the time of the activation.
You don't have enough targets. You have to have
Oh,
three
right, I'm
monsters in
sorry.
the graveyard. I need to pay attention.
Yeah, like... How the fuck did I fuck that up? Give me a second.
Dude, what did you...
Not the guy be like, man, I need to pay attention. that was me as fuck. that was me as fuck being like, man, I gotta pay pay attention. That was so real. That was real as fuck.
Wrong, Peter. What did you do?
Yeah, like, what
This combo always ends with Gusto Emerald. How did you mess this up?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Not him being like, bro, where are you back? Oh my god, I'm literally crying. I'm crying. Oh my god. That's amazing. Oh my god. That's awesome.
What the fuck happened?
Yeah, dude. What the fuck?
Illegal play number 4. Now, I genuinely want to believe that Peter made an honest mistake here, because it's certainly not in his favor if he can't resolve the Gusto Emerald to draw the free card. But it seems like he initially caught himself when he goes to detach and realizes that it's an illegal action. But then he tries to go through with it again before the judge stops him. So take that for what you will. Now, at this point, both Peter and his opponent are confused and are wondering what the heck he just did, because the current game state makes absolutely zero sense.
This is awesome.
I'm so done with this game.
That's awesome. That's so
I
awesome.
don't want to play anymore. I'm done. I want to go home. I just want to go home. I have no idea what just happened.
What should have been an extremely linear and standard combo line has somehow been fudged, and the numbers are just not adding up. As Peter mutters to himself, he proceeds to activate Void Banishment to try and search for Void Feast, a trap card that strengthens his end board and would summon out multiple Infernoids during the opponent's turn, all while asking himself what the hell he just did wrong. But little does he know, he's about to make illegal play number 5, though we'll get back to this in a second. At this moment, the table judge points out that he hadn't detached from his Broad Bowl for the effect of Rapier earlier, something that's still easily fixable, though technically at a warning for Peter, which the judge forgets to give him.
Chat told me to remind you to detach for something. Detach for bullet search. Oh, I guess it was that. You probably were supposed to detach for that.
This is awesome.
Okay, alright. So, yeah, that's like, wait, something happened. That's why.
Something went wrong.
Yes.
To make things even more confusing, Peter then asks the judge if he still has to activate the Void Banishment, or if they can rewind to him shuffling and drawing a card first.
So, do I even still need to do this first? Because I was originally going to do that.
Oh god, I don't want to play anymore.
This is so.
Don't ask me anything. All right.
This guy's fucking awesome. That guy's awesome. This guy's awesome. He's like, yeah, fucking, I don't know. Stop asking me. Leave me alone. This guy's awesome. That's so funny. Poor guy to sit this entire time. I know, bro. I don't know what I would have done, but this guy's great. Awesome.
I'm saying?
What happened?
Everything else was detached.
What's between you? God, can this not be my life right now?
I'm still going to make this move anyway.
I just want to play you.
Hold on.
Peter decides that the outcome is the same anyways, so he proceeds with his next play.
Yes, just stay here. Just saying.
Yo, please.
Peter overlays for Zodiac Trident and then tributes the Daigusto Emerald to summon out Vanity's Fiend, a powerful card that he brought in from his side deck that locks his opponent out from special summoning.
Okay.
As if this wasn't enough, he then passes his turn and flips up the anti-spell fragrance, locking the opponent completely out of any spell cards during their turn. With the Void Beast poised to summon out 3 Infernoids during Fraser's turn, and the Vanity's Fiend preventing him from summoning any monsters, this is effectively an unbreakable end board that should be an automatic win for Peter. Even worse for Fraser is the fact that he drew his one of in the form of Speedroid Takam Tomborg, a useless engine piece that you'd never want to draw. While Fraser would have probably scooped up his cards immediately against any other player, in the back of his head he still knew that he was playing against Peter Chang. And if the first game was any indication, anything can happen when you're playing against Peter Chang. And the longer that you stay in the game, the more likely it is that he might have made an illegal play, which he did, because a judge suddenly pauses the game yet again.
So wait.
Why can't he summon dragon?
That's all chat said. He cannot summon dragon, so it seems to be condition is not there. Oh god, what is happening now? Oh, is it because you activated that card? Does that card do something?
Yeah, you can't normal special summon monsters other than Infernoids.
This is
Do
awesome.
this first. So, like, this is unbelievable.
This is fucking awesome. I started out as, oh, and then I got cringe, and now I'm like, no, this is just rad. This is so funny. It keeps getting worse. I think I'm going through the strangest of grief just watching this. This is crazy. I can't believe my deck does. Playing to your outs and the outs being your opponent doing 178 illegal ways. My man's lost his touch. He's not even cheating well anymore. My goat washed. My goat's washed. This is awesome.
This is another error game state.
This is awesome.
I'm done. I just what is happening?
Real.
Someone in the chat had noticed that Peter cheated yet again by summoning non-Infernoid monsters after resolving his Void Vanishment. You see, Void Vanishment has a line of text at the very end that says for the rest of the turn after you resolve this card's effect, you cannot summon any monsters except for Infernoids. And Fraser even picked up this card to read earlier, but it has so much text that it was just easy to miss.
You can discard one card, add one void from your deck, except okay. Also, you can add normal special moves for the rest of the turn, okay.
So in this very basic combo line, Peter had effectively messed up everything. He was supposed to summon out the Zodiac Trident and Vanity's Fiend before activating the Void Vanishment as the final layer of his combo, so the monster lock wouldn't matter. But he didn't.
So you can't even summon Vanity's Fiend?
No.
Oh
Awesome.
See, I told you this was supposed to be done first, and then this is supposed to be at the end.
Why are you explaining your combo to him after you already cheated like 5 million times? Also, how do you not understand? Because, yeah, wait. Hold on, get back to the frame of, like, of the actual stream. Round 5 of 8! This is round 5 of 8! How do you not know? Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. He was 5-0 prior to this. No, this is awesome. This is literally awesome.
No.
Oh my god.
See, I told you this was supposed to be done first, and then this is supposed to be at the end. But you know.
Oh yeah, he can't do this or this.
Yeah, no, he can't do either of that.
So
That's what I'm saying. This was supposed to be done first.
Yo, he
and
can't
then,
do
like
either
he
one
said,
of
I had
these
to do
things.
this.
Oh, your whole
Oh,
field is illegal.
I think he's supposed to be activated last. I knew that. Oh my
Yeah.
freaking god.
This
So
is the
we
most.
went from a game 1, game lost to
Oh my god.
and then
It's
then
not like
you
it's intentional.
okay, so you didn't even somehow you pulled off activating an X without detaching and didn't get a procedural error.
That's why I said, like, where did it go wrong? Like, this happens all
Yeah,
the
he went to
time.
go for that
And
Gustav
now,
roll.
Right.
and now you have Dryden Vanities, which is a procedural error.
After
You do know where this is going, Peter.
But I'm just saying, like, it's not intentional. Like, you know, these moves are just I don't.
Yo,
The radius of
I
the
know. But
Oh my god, what the run that back! No fucking way!
just these moves are just. I don't.
Yo,
The radius of
I
the
know.
That's awesome. This is awesome. I'm just saying the ratings. Yeah, true. That's the one good thing that comes out of this. At least ARG got a fuck ton of ad revenue from this. They must have gotten so much money. Bidding Peter played ARG is a business move. True! They knew how people would watch to see if he would cheat. This was intentional. They put him on the feature to see if he would cheat in 4K, and he did. But he cheated so bad that he fucked everything up. This is awesome.
Oh, but I'm just saying, these are just so...
Both of these monsters cannot be on the field right now.
Like,
Yeah, no.
you know where a procedural error goes after.
I know, but I'm saying, like, this was... I don't know how it walked up to this, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is so... It's so...
Peter realizes this, but has little to say beyond...
It's so basic, and it's like... These moves are just so basic. They're not, like...
30
And these
minutes
are just,
outgoing.
like, basic moves from these,
Someone talking
you
time
know...
board.
God. This is, like, the most common basic moves, and it's like...
Then why are you messing
No,
them
I'm
up?
just saying, because...
The chat and the head judge were really unamused. In addition to this, Peter had got away scot-free without receiving even a warning for his illegal plays earlier in the match. He doesn't really have anything to defend himself with, besides his new catchphrase,
These moves are just like the basic moves, you know? Oh my freaking god. And it's just a basic turn one move. It's not even like...
Okay, wait. This is off topic to this.
Oh my
Wait.
freaking god. And it's just a basic turn one move. It's not even...
This is off topic, right? Of him just saying that it's basic and that he's just saying. I've noticed this and I need chat to explain to me. I've noticed that a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players will use like Texas Instrument TI calculators. Like really, like TI-85 calculators. Why? You're doing basic math in Yu-Gi-Oh! Why do you need a TI-85 calculator? Can someone explain? Just like use a piece of paper and like a shitty ass calculator. They have history. Oh, I see, I see. It's just flexing in the early 2010s? That's crazy. A weird nerf flex. 8,000 life points and minus with periods to track both. That's crazy. Cause I need it. I played back then, it was a flex. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! On paper very often. So I'm just like, everyone I know when you play Yu-Gi-Oh! Just use a piece of paper or like their phone calculator or just does it in their head. No one cares. No one I know carries a TI-85 calculator. The TI-83 calculator case 1984 Spellground Magician Girl deck box is the fit. This is awesome. They had newspapers in the rules. Oh. Nowadays it's a meme, but back then it was it was cool. That's so. That is like of all things I've seen Yu-Gi-Oh players do, I think this is like the nerdiest thing. And I've seen a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players do dumb shit, but flexing with your TI-83 calculator I think is the nerdiest thing that I've ever seen. That's crazy. Like I've seen bitches spend thousands of dollars on a cardboard or on these little things, and I don't judge you, that's fine, but spending a couple $100 on a TI-83 calculator is insane. That's literally crazy.
Like, no, but it's so
And I'm not going to
basic.
DQ.
I'm just saying the moves are so basic.
And
And
you
it's just,
should be happy.
the moves are just so basic, it's
I'm gonna
unreal
kill
what's
this
happening.
man.
because they were technically basic moves, but he kept repeating himself as if there was some sliver of hope that the judges would let him rewind and actually do the combo the right way.
It's not like there was any interaction with this move. They're just basic moves.
That's even worse. That's even worse. If there was no point of interaction, all you had to do was cheat and you still fucked up. To be fair, Nova, you probably already had one from school requiring it for classes. I never bought one. My school had them. I was a brokey. This is literally bro really FTK'd himself, Drew! He literally FTK'd himself! Oh my god, dude. Imagine... Oh, I should... If I knew, we could have played bingo! We could have made like a bingo card just for this video and included things like I'm just saying or it's so basic. I should have. Or Peter cheats. If only I knew, I could have made a freaking bingo card for us to play bingo. Man.
Was like, it's not even like there was any interact. Basically, I don't know where it went wrong.
I think he went wrong getting in the car this morning.
Oh my god! No fucking. Run that back! No way! Run that back!
Any
Run
interact.
that
Basically,
back!
I don't know where it went wrong.
I think he went wrong getting in the car this morning.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Man, I'm so sad that these tournaments don't exist anymore. That guy's awesome. I can't believe you would say that. Oh my god. Imagine a tournament organizer just roasting you. Just obliterating you. Oh my god. Does bro know he's live? I don't think any of them care. I don't think anyone on that camera cares anymore. Did the judge murder the guy live on stream? That's not just the judge. That's the guy who runs the events. That's the owner of ARG. Oh my god. If Peter played his card right, he was supposed to get the win for the owner making inappropriate comments. That's the owner? Yeah, that's the owner of ARG. That's awesome.
I keep hearing basic, and I'm like, I feel like he's a white girl.
Oh my god! Oh my god! They're literally all... They're literally all making fun of him right now. Oh my god! This is diabolical. I've never in my entire life ever seen something quite like this. Cause I feel like in most professional settings, they would usually just quietly push him away, but they're just sitting here roasting him. Oh my god. Run that back.
I'm getting in the car this morning.
I keep hearing basic, and I'm like, I feel like he's a white girl.
He's like, it's so basic, it's so basic.
Either way, the match is over.
And then
That's, oh my god. That's awesome. They just sat there and roasted him on 4K. To be fair, the judges are coming in hot for a bunch of guys who did Twitch. Yeah, true. That is also insane. The fact that Twitch chat had to catch most of these. Shout out Twitch chat. But also, this is, I think the only person I truly feel bad for is his opponent. I feel so bad. Everyone else was low-key a little incompetent for all of that happening. This is, oh my god.
it's just a basic turn one move. It's not even like this was like. It's not even like there was any interaction in the game. You turn, oh my freaking god.
Where's my healer?
No way! Is he getting his healer?
Oh, this is so ugly. Okay.
You've actually left me
I'm
with that
just
choice.
saying.
At one point, he would seemingly get annoyed and would even proceed to blame the judges.
Because he keeps coming over and saying, I'm just saying, but you guys are not saying, and why are you not saying it after the move is done? And he's like not saying anything either.
Because I'm still learning what these do.
Saying that they didn't point out his illegal moves and they were distracting him by walking back and forth to his table to check.
True. The judges should have caught it. The judges should have caught it. That is true. It does not help the fact that you still cheated. But true, the judges should have said something. Did the fact that you use inhaler? Oh my god, that reminds me. Okay. before I ended up getting actually diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, right? For a long time, like, I want to say for a solid, like, year straight, I felt like I couldn't breathe properly. It was pretty horrible, right? And my doctors couldn't figure out what was going on, right? I had EKGs done. I had all this crazy stuff. But at one point, they gave me an inhaler and said, try this. See if you can breathe with this. And I remember distinctly, being at band practice after school, and I couldn't breathe. And mind you, I'm at band, and my ass needs to breathe. So I tried using the inhaler they gave me, and I guess I tried using it too many times, so I basically fell asleep. I knocked the fuck out. I did an overdose, but like, basically you say, like, I didn't full on knock out, but I was very, very sleepy. I was like not fully there. But I'm fine, I'm alive, and I realized after that that the inhaler did nothing, so I stopped using it, but... You can do that, apparently! I don't know what the fuck with that inhaler, but that happened. But I'm fine, though. I'm fine. I lived. And I learned that it was not that I had asthma, is that I was horribly anxious. I didn't know that inhaler can do that. I don't know either. It just did. It was really weird. Yeah, I can breathe fine now. I'm perfectly fine. But yeah, for a solid like year or two, it's pretty horrible. The inhaler didn't work, just saying.
On the game.
This is unreal. I hope you know. I just hope you know. I'm letting you know. Oh my god. He literally did nothing. And like no one is like saying this after the move's already done.
Bro, just get up! Just leave the table! Please just get up from the table! Stop complaining that you lost! Just get up and go! And cheat somewhere else!
Unbelievable. Thanks, Judge. You're a real help, by the
Bro,
way.
just
Anybody
leave!
else, literally, that would have not had slide. Just saying.
Just
I have
leave!
no comments. I am simply going to go to the bathroom.
This is actually just insane.
The stream
Please
chat
just
went
leave.
absolutely crazy. Fraser had only played a total of 4 Yu-Gi-Oh cards, only to win the match 2-0, including a game that was basically unwinnable.
Yo, this has to be crazy on stream. I just know.
I know.
I just know the stream has been going crazy.
You're
I've literally
sitting here
drawn
and
2
you're not
hands.
saying it. That's why I said
Game
just
1,
sit
Summon
here.
Archfiend Eccentric. Game 2, Summon Talking Tomboy. And this is all done in the last
Oh
30
my
minutes.
freaking god.
Actual hard evidence of Peter's shenanigans had finally unraveled to the world in front of thousands of people watching. The legendary moment would forever be embedded in Yu-Gi-Oh history. Peter's defense? It was apparently his first time ever playing the deck, and Peter's friend had helped.
What? Bro, you were at round 5! That is not the first time you've played it! You're at round 5! What? I'm killing this man in Minecraft. It was his first time, just saying. Yeah, just saying. He went 5-0, yeah, 5-0, just saying. Yeah, basic combos, they were basic. How could he mess them up? Oh no, it was round 5. True. Oh my god. It's so basic that I fucked up.
Help them build the deck before the tournament.
So what happens when you tell somebody to build you a deck?
Bro, just get up.
I have no idea how to play it.
Bro, please just leave.
Unbelievable.
Please
Now, as
just
funny as it
leave.
sounds, I honestly think I might actually agree with Peter here. I don't think he deliberately tried to cheat, at least not in the second game. His sequence of play was so counterintuitive, and he had nothing to gain from it. In fact, if he played his basic combo the way that he should have in the second game, his hand was basically an automatic win. The head judge was also quite reasonable, and he didn't believe that Peter's actions were deliberate.
So
It's also my first time playing this deck too,
Peter,
but
here's the plus side. Is
Oh my
I don't
God.
think you're purposely cheating.
no, but it's so
And I'm not going to
basic.
DQ you.
I'm just saying the moves are so basic,
And
and it's
that's what you
just.
should be happy with.
But it's not that. It's
wanna
just
bring-
the moves are just so basic. It's unreal what's happening.
So Peter would receive only a match penalty and not a disqualification, allowing him to play further into the tournament. But he wouldn't do too hot, having been pretty tilted from this match to say the least. The match would be posted throughout social media, forums, Facebook groups, Reddit. Everyone in the community would witness the hilarity. And more than anything, it was fantastic entertainment. But the story doesn't end here. Ironically, Peter's official ban from the Konami organized events would be lifted around that time, granting him the ability to attend YCS Seattle only 1 week after the ARG incident. He would play the same deck, with one of his opponents going on Reddit to note that Peter was unpleasant, extremely rushed, and grabbed his cards without asking, overall being a very annoying opponent to play against. And at this tournament, Peter would somehow get disqualified and banned yet again.
How did that happen again? You literally just got unbanned. How did it happen again? Not the grabbing of the cards. Here's my thing, right? If I'm like pretty friendly with someone, I've known them for a long time. My friends and I just grab them. Like, I know you'll handle my cards with care, and you'll handle mine with care. I don't do that to strangers. That's crazy. You don't just like dip grab people's cards like people you don't know. The fuck? Consent, people. Yeah, true. Ask consent. How does he get banned so many times? He literally just got unbanned. True. At least it did not eat the cards. That is true. That happened in Pokemon for some reason.
Though the exact reason for his disqualification wasn't explicitly confirmed, according to a user on Reddit, it was allegedly for UC cheating related to something with the graveyard. Now, I know what you're thinking. Based on the prior story so far, you probably think that Peter would return to get his revenge once more. But this was seemingly the nail in the coffin for Peter's career as a player, for he would surprisingly not return to the competitive scene. But Peter's ghost would somehow still be in the community and haunt it in other ways.
Huh?
Also, if you guys made it this far into the video, it hopefully means that you enjoy my content. And I want to let you know really quick, I do have a Patreon page where you can get early access to my future videos like this one and behind the scenes content, including footage from these stories that didn't make the final cut. With his career as a player effective...
Skip ad? No! Listen, he's gracefully letting me watch his video for you guys, and I can get monetized the video, right? The least I can do is let his little ads play. Subscribe to his Patreon, subscribe to the channel. Lovely video.
ended, or at least on extended hiatus, Peter still couldn't leave the game that he devoted so much of his life to. Now, remember how we mentioned earlier that Peter would buy and sell cards to fund his travels? Well, it turns out that being banned from playing, Peter would instead shift his complete attention onto buying and selling cards, creating an online store on the eBay-owned platform TCG Player. But over the next few months, across buy and sell groups on Facebook, there would be complaints about a certain TCG Player account by the name of Illumina, which was probably inspired by the Lightsworn monster, if you see where I'm going with this.
I was about to say, oh my god, Melty Blood type Lumina, I love that game. Never mind.
sellers. In Yu-Gi-Oh! Trade complaints, a group consisting of over 11,000 members, several customers would state that this seller had sent them damaged, high-value cards. In one case, it was a Starlight Rare IP Masquerena, which at the time had a market value of over $1,000 USD. But many others were even less fortunate, where they would not receive their order at all, having to complain to TCG player support in order to get a refund. With such a concentrated group of Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, many were quick to call out that Lumina was in fact an online store that was owned and operated by Peter Chang. Quite a fitting name, as Lightsworns were one of his most successful decks over a decade prior. As time passed, there were more and more complaints about Peter, ranging from damaged cards that were received not as pictured, to more orders not being received at all. This was a recurring trend, for it seemed that Peter was extremely forgetful, or maybe he just didn't intend to ship out the smaller cards in the first place in the hopes that the customer might forget. Stories would also trickle across the internet to Reddit, where a thread asking sellers to watch out for on TCG Player would have the most upvoted response be about Lumina. Some less than fortunate players would receive their order, but it would be missing a card or two. With other orders, his communication through TCG Player would be less than accommodating, with the buyer having to send multiple messages only to get one sentence in reply before getting ghosted. A belligerent customer who didn't receive his package directly slid into Peter Chang's DMs, with Peter asking, "But how you know it was me?" before being informed that there were many threads about him online. "Oh wow, can't believe there's a thread," he would say. "That's kinda cool." Peter then stated that the package was delivered and provided a tracking number to prove it, except it wasn't delivered to the right address. But with a quick glance at the screenshots, it seems that the buyer was actually moving during his deal with Peter, so we can't fully attribute fault to Peter here. But I thought it was interesting that one person just had enough and actually slid into Peter's personal DMs. Another member alleged that Peter canceled an order he made after the card's price surged overnight, only to relist the exact same cards on the same day that the order was canceled at a higher price. One customer even felt blackmailed and threatened.
It's low-key sad that this is not the first time I've heard of people doing that before. That is not an uncommon thing. It sucks, but it's not uncommon. Like, it's happened to me before. It's crazy how often that happens, that people just do that. Yeah, with the Vanguard stuff. Yeah, look how me the Vanguard stuff. It's crazy. People just do that. It's so cringe. And TCG player doesn't care. I don't know how the exact like monetization works, like how basically how TCG player gets their cut, but I'm assuming TCG player gets a cut based on percentage. So I assume they don't care, because if they cancel and re-upload the card and sell it for more, that would mean TCG player gets more money. I think. Not 100% on how TCG player makes their money, but I'm assuming it's a percentage. TCG player gets 10-20% cut. Yes, that makes sense. They wouldn't care about that because they make more money. That's still crazy though.
By Peter Chang, though there wasn't any hard evidence beyond their comment. People quickly realized that Lumina, aka Peter Chang, was to be avoided at all costs. And to the hilarity of the entire community, one unsuspecting fellow would ask for a reference check on Peter Chang, only for the thread to be met with almost 200 laugh reacts. Luckily, he asked before making a deal with Peter. All of this would culminate in a chunk of terrible feedback in Lumina's store on TCG Player, with over 55 pages to a total of 548 negative reviews, and Peter Chang being added to the community blacklist for bad traders and scammers. But in Peter's defense, he somehow still had a positive lifetime rating, with 99.4% on over 50,000 sales, which means that he had actually sold a lot of cards successfully. And though rare, among the heaps of negative comments, there were at least a handful of customers who successfully bought cards from Peter with no issue. But to this very day, Peter Chang continues to peddle cardboard online, with a store comprising of over 450,000 individual products, the last remaining sliver of the legend himself.
Oh damn. Well, that was not even the video to end. Just like, damn. Well, what a video. Damn. Yeah, what an abrupt end. I wasn't prepared for it to end just like that. I I thought I'd be like, oh, thank you for watching. It's just those, boop, like, oh, okay. Yeah, what a video. That was so good. But yeah, someone had mentioned it in chat that he's like gravely ill. I hope he's okay. Like, genuinely. The cheating stuff from Yu-Gi-Oh aside, that all is insane. Like, literally craziest shit I've ever heard in terms of card games. Like, cheating getting banned that many times is literally insane. But regardless of that, I genuinely do hope he's okay. This is all just like so crazy. Oh my god. Card game players are a different breed. Maybe I just like don't get angry enough, or don't like, am not passionate about things for the stuff, for today, even like have this stuff cross my mind. Like, I don't know. You know, you should, for your next react, ask Coder for what judge videos you should watch. I can message Coder. Knowing Coder, he would ask to watch it with me. No, you crash out every Yu-Gi-Oh stream, but it's like a fun crash out. Like, I'm not like I'm not like genuinely angry. I don't, how do I explain it? If I crash out during card games, it's all for the love of the game for fun. I'm having a good time. But I don't ever go to this level, right? I don't ever feel the need to like cheat. I'm not that passionate. If I lose, I lose. Like, I don't fucking care. Yeah, crash as a treat. Or I don't ever get like legitimately angry at a person where I get like angry and start yelling at people. I don't care that much. Crash out for stress relief, not crash out for stress. Exactly, literally. That's literally why I enjoy crashing out playing Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a stress reliever. It's quite nice. But yes, last night's stream, low-key did make me a little angry. I was like, I was just like so tired. I was like, please just end, bro. Let me go. No, it's like eating a card of anger. Yeah, literally. It's like Vanguard's so fun. Yeah, I think the only reason I can play Vanguard is I don't take the game that seriously. I think if I took Vanguard very seriously, I would go insane. I would actually just go crazy. It'd be the most rage-inducing thing possible. But because I don't take it that seriously, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if I lost, I lost. It's fine. Evil Noah, I must exceed the great Peter Chang and cheat maxing. Therefore, I was cheat max. Babe, it's just basic. No, Miwa, I was gonna say I was gonna send it to you later. You should have reacted to this video. It's so fun. I took Vanguard seriously early on. Can't confirm you would go insane. Yeah, it's just too Luxaki. I would go crazy. Yeah, I can't. I did, it was so good. Oh, you did already? That's crazy. It's a good video. Well, anyway, I guess that's everything. I watched it all. What a good video. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Had an awesome time. Be sure to subscribe. Yeah. I don't feel more basic in my life when you got called the basic work. It was crazy. But yeah, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching. And yeah. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Where's the screen? Okay, bye-bye.